I don't know if you've met Higher Lycra before. I'm sure you've seen him around. I know you've
Uh,
probably seen him around. Once his mask is revealed, you've seen him before. He's actually one of the face sharers. He
oh,
is,
really?
I'd say, early face sharing. Like you were really sharing it early on.
I think right from the age of 18.
I really, wow.
Yeah, around then. Like, I definitely wasn't shy. I definitely know that there's a picture on Spandex Party, like spandexparty.com, where I'm clearly wearing a Under Armour hockey top, a black one, and I show my face, and it's in my parents' basement on our family computer webcam.
Oh Lord. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think you got me. I think you got me beat because I started at 24.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And it it's it's everybody, it's your personality type, and it's just what you feel comfortable with. And from the get-go, like even as a kid, I was an exhibitionist. Like I was running around doing everything, all kinds of, getting into everything. And I was getting into the tight stuff and naked stuff, just dresses and all that kind of stuff, right?
yes. So before we get too carried away in the good conversation, let's just go ahead and do the intro to the episode. I will. Would you like me to do it, Rob?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. Welcome everybody to episode 24 of Tights Frame of Mind. Today we are with our special guest, Higher Lycra. And say
Hello.
hello, Higher or Lycra
Hello.
or Higher.
Hi. Hi,
Howdy, howdy,
Lycra.
howdy.
And
How's it going, dude?
hi. And I bet a lot of people wonder where the name comes from. Sometimes I have to remember where it even comes from
Where
because
does it come from?
it just has stuck. I actually, probably when I was 18, was obsessed with a certain fragrance from a certain designer that was named Higher by Dior.
Hmm.
And then for some reason, it's not around anymore, but I really liked it. It came in like this kind of metal, uh, like a metal spritzer, and the rest of it like with a white plastic bit on it. And that was just, I don't know, I just took Higher from that because I really liked the fragrance for some reason. And then it just obviously clicked with me being so into Lycra that it became Higher Lycra. Yeah.
Now, explain to the audience. You've got some before I go into the show, like what we're going to do as far as activities. Explain that you said you have sort of an outfit reveal type thing going on.
Yes. So I started with just something underneath, but my main is Lycra spandex. Lycra is the brand, spandex is the material. But yeah, I started with kind of like my go-to if I'm gonna get into something tight and shiny, and that's a full Zentai suit, which I'm wearing right now with pantyhose over.
Which, wow,
Nice.
that's an interesting
Nice.
look.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Which the blur is not helping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Let
has
me
trouble.
let me fix that
But
because I'm in a, there we go.
now, did you discover which one did you wear first? That's very nice. So for anybody who's not part of our patrons right now, you're missing out on a view of quite an outfit that Hire's wearing.
It's an amazing
It's
outfit.
yeah. I mean, like now it makes me want to try that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something that I don't do often, but when I do, I love it. I love it because it gives the illusion of, another kind of anonymous skin underneath the pantyhose, if
Right.
you will.
It's
And
sort
like,
of
yeah,
unidentifiable pantyhose, but they're really cool looking pantyhose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
You could
yeah.
Are
And
the
really
spender are those suspender pantyhose, by the way?
no, they're just very high waisted.
yeah. But
Oh
how'd you do
gosh. I cut it. I always just cut in on the waistband from the side on either side.
Oh,
And they
gotcha.
just, yeah.
How long does that last? I mean, I would imagine those are pretty precarious to
If
keep.
if it's like nice, if it's got a good give and like a big long weight, like torso, like this one, like down in the waist or midriff section, then completely fine. But when I'm wearing it underneath, it can hurt like it can cut into your shoulders after a
Right,
while, right?
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what I've
So
got on right now. It's more like I got like pantyhose sleeves on, but this thing is like rolled up because I got sweating so bad. we got like a cookout going on. So I'm like,
Oh
we're
God.
struggling to get it on.
That's the worst when you're trying to get on something tight when you're like sweaty already. It's like,
I mean,
but
I had to sit there, bring my little sweat towel with me and everything.
now, but like now, like, but the thing about that is that I'll tell you this much. Well, what's nice to, is, right now, I feel like we definitely. I'm glad we have Patreon because this will not be something that YouTube will probably allow.
Oh,
I think there's a state of excitement that it's no, hey, you're the guest.
I won't,
There's
Amazing
I,
outfit.
I won't
I
move
would
to
be
the bed.
no. I look. I'm not judging. I'm cool with it. I'm saying I'm glad we have a way to put this out where our patrons can see it, where we don't have to worry about um the YouTubeage, so to speak. But for all
The
of you,
censors.
curious, I'd say tumescent would be the word I would use to describe the situation. And I would also like to say that today we're actually going to talk about what I put together a little slideshow for all of you guys is sort of a compilation of men in pantyhose ads, and we're going to kind of go through a slideshow and we're just going to sort of give our hot takes on them, which ones we think are good, which ones we think are bad, which one we think are, phenomenal, and which ones we think are just, absolute dog shit. So I figured that would be a fun to get your outlook on that because how have you noticed I mean because and I've always noticed that like obviously spandex is the sister fetish to pantyhose. I think you can't try one without having tried the other, right? I mean,
I agree.
I know I
They
have.
they're kind of spun from the same thread, if you get my gist.
Yeah.
Like there's always a composition of either or in uh, either way you go. So I definitely think that there are some people that are definitely diehards with, either pantyhose or spandex, and they just won't even cross those lines. But I'm definitely somebody who I almost get overwhelmed with how much I have a passion for each, and they kind of fight each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and notice in your pictures you'll often go through like sort of like I'd say little like stages where you're doing like a lot pantyhose focus shots and then like lycra focus shots and then but
It's kind of just what I'm feeling at the time and also what I'm seeing, I guess. Like if I'm seeing a lot of other guys wearing lycra, like especially right now this summer, the Amorsi suits are just like bam off the charts. All the
yeah.
Everybody's wearing them, everybody's buying them, everybody's wanting to be an Amorsi slut. You know, it's
So
but I also like mixing that in. Like a lot of the times I like wearing pantyhose under, and there's actually somebody in the pantyhose community who inspired me to do that. Even if I just say his name now, under his most likely known handle, Dr. Dick Spider, he started out as.
Yes,
yes.
I
Yes.
know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Dick
Yeah.
Spider.
Yeah. He totally was kind of like my first fuel to that fire of, trying out pantyhose under Lycra. And I fell in love with it just as much as he told me I would ever since. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I know Dr. Dick Spider. He's one of the I'd say mainstay. He's one of the he's been around. He's like just one of
He's
those
been around
people.
for quite a while. Yeah.
It's amazing
Yeah.
how this community has become so like we all know of each other if you've been around long enough. But speaking of community, I did want to do a shout out to one of our new patrons. This they are known as Mix Wrestle Nylon, and they're non-binary and they look fantastic in pantyhose. And I just kind of wanted to read what they wrote or to me on Twitter. It was really moving. They said, I just wanted to reach out and say I love your podcast, listening to every episode. Thank you for what you do for the queer community. And I was very touched by that. I thought, thank you very
That's
much.
awesome.
So thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
And they they became a patron like right after that conversation, which was awesome. They recognize that the podcasts are not free to produce, and we appreciate people out there who are supporting us and allowing us to do this continually. So Gentlemen, what do you guys say? Should we jump into the ads and sort of do a little hot takes, or do we have a little news to report? What about you, Rob? Do you have anything newsy to report?
So far, no news because this week has been extraordinarily busy. So I haven't been able to do any news, so to say. But I will be doing some this week, the coming up week. So stay tuned. Next podcast, I'm going to definitely get some news going because I've been hearing a few things here and there. So I don't want to give anything out just yet. So stand by.
I'm going to give out a little something. Later on
Go
this
for it.
month, we will be interviewing Lady B.
Oh boy, she
Yes, we will.
finally said hello.
She and even better, she has told us her thoughts on what outfits we should wear when we.
Oh,
So we are being stylized. We're gonna be
oh my
stylized.
goodness.
So that's some good news.
And also today is her birthday. No, yesterday was her birthday. Excuse me.
Happy belated birthday. Now
Yes.
for hire, I want to know what kind of pantyhose is that you're wearing because you have it's very high waisted. What kind of pantyhose is that?
I can actually just let's just do this. Because I looked before I put them on, and I actually think they're from not Shapings, but what's the other Lieberman?
Ah,
Oh,
G. Lieberman.
G. Lieberman.
Yeah,
Lieberman. G. Lieberman.
Active Skin for Men, I think it was.
Oh wow, that's an
Oh.
old school act. Like you got an active skin. Wow, those are that high
They're
waisted. I didn't know they were.
they're sorry, they're Sigvaris.
Oh, Sigvaris. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not familiar
Sigvaris.
with that brand.
120 PF, size F, 15 to 20 mmHg, USA, Canada.
Okay. So they're
Those are vintage then, right? Those
They
are
also
vintage, right,
have
Bob?
they also have like the molded foot or like the molded heel going on.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Those are great. Now,
wow. I haven't seen that brand in a good long while.
I think they're vintage. I'd have to say, like those are like a vintage.
Do
Like
they have the heel patch on it?
yeah, yeah.
yeah, they have like the shaped heel,
Oh,
heel patch.
yeah. That is definitely vintage.
Yeah, I have a couple pairs of those myself, but I was gifted them.
Yeah, I've gotten so much pantyhose from so many places along the way. I can usually pinpoint where most of them were like a select bit of it's from, but the rest, like I don't know, it's crazy.
Bits and
I, I
bobs.
have a I have a like a whole huge under bed storage kind of just pile that gets randomly routed through every once in a while. It's impossible to sort or organize. How do you sort or organize pantyhose? That's what I want to know.
I try.
I've got my sorted in.
I try. I just roll them up and then I put them in I have this like duffel bag that I put them all in, but then I can never find what I want, like it's just like I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible at it. I'm shameful.
Me, I got three drawers. I got one drawer that's for all blacks, off blacks, stuff, silver. Then one for tans and leggings, and then I've got one that's for like all sorts of colors. So it just depends on what I want.
Now, what are you wearing today, Rob? What do you got on?
All right, so today I have on Lechery Coruscant tights. These are no longer made. These came out early in the company when they first came out. They did have like a black version. This is kind of sort of similar to it. They look similar to also the Spanx glitter tights that the Spanx put out at one time, which I probably wear at a later date. The arms, on the other hand, these are legs active support. These are old tote.
I didn't even
Nice.
know that you were wearing on top.
Yep.
Wow. That's
And
Yeah,
that's
of course,
such a
it's all rolled up right here, right along it. So if my arms go limp from the lack of circulation, it's
yeah.
yes,
all for help.
yes,
I
yeah.
I've got a secret layer underneath the suit. See,
Uh
secret
oh.
pantyhose layer. It's like full coverage, which I gotta tell you, it feels great. I was turned on to these suits by someone very recently, and
I
they're
like the upper
fantastic.
suit though.
Yeah, no, it's look at how shiny it is too. Like,
Look how shiny that is. I mean, that is unfucking believable how shiny that is.
yeah, yeah, and like it's like it. I mean, I love it, and it feels nice too. Like it feels great alone, but with pantyhose,
Right.
it's even better. Like,
I can only imagine.
yeah, it's literally like so slick. You're just kind of like swoosh swoosh everywhere. So
That's like you could just slide everywhere. It's like who needs a car? You just slide everywhere with that.
that's basically what I was gonna. That's basically what I've been doing is just like sliding down the street because, well, actually, with well, the craziest thing too about this outfit is you'd think with the heat it would be like unbearable, but it's actually like really, it's wonderful. It breathes really well and it dries like in seconds. It's
Oh
crazy.
wow.
You just went back in time and did the same thing that the guy that invented Under Armour did. He was wearing, like almost lingerie spandex and was like, this stuff breathes and
Right.
it keeps you cool when you get hot.
Yeah, it's I mean like that's the thing. It's like a lot of people ask me they're like, "Do you not know wear pantyhose in the heat?" And I'm like, "No, it actually helps. Like as long as you keep it like, thin, it helps." Now, if you go over to
Yep.
like, anything over 30, eh, might be a little.
Yeah, I've been wearing 20 den here lately, so I've been kind of stay away from the higher deniers.
Well, I don't wear anything higher than 2010 in Florida, period. It's like I just can't do it. Like
I believe
opaque
it.
is not my friend in Florida.
Give it about a month, then I'll be back in the opaques again.
Yeah, but you're in Virginia, so it's like colder there. And
Yeah, it's true,
and
true.
hires up. He's far up north too, there where there's snow.
Oh, okay.
We're
Well, then I can
not
see why
yet.
he's got the suit on. There you go.
We're in summer. It's no snow yet.
But there's snow possibility, is what I'm saying.
It's November. Yeah,
I'm saying
November.
like it can snow there, as in like in Florida. It I don't know if it's ever.
Oh, yeah, 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 I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's last time it snowed in Florida was Miami in 1978. And when I say snowed,
My gosh.
it came down, but when it hit the ground, it melted.
Oh yeah.
But it
Well,
was still.
it must have looked beautiful at least.
It did. My father said it looked very eerie seeing snow on Miami Beach. It's very apocalyptic. Like, wow, you are layered up there, higher. Like, what you got? I mean, like, you've gone from
Mm.
spandex to how many layers do you got on now?
I have like a legs layer, arms layer, and then the Speedo Hydra suit, which is my makeshift leotard at this time. And then the Sigvaris that I was wearing over the Zentai earlier on my legs again. And then just some other pair now that has obviously seen better days, but it's still got a nice shine to it, and I like the color on top.
Fantastic. Now that makes me want to. Should I put on another layer too? Should I put a layer on just cause? Because you know what? I have on. I wonder what it would look like. It'd be pretty weird. I have
Only
a.
imagine what people are thinking that can see in right now. But
I
at the
bet they're.
same time,
I bet they're thinking. Well, I know what they're thinking.
but
They're thinking what they should.
at the same time, this is kind of why I'm doing this show, is because pantyhose doesn't always have to be sexual. It can
Yeah,
just be something you sit in at home and feel comfortable in as if you were just wearing regular clothes.
I agree.
exactly. Absolutely. I agree. Yep.
I agree. Although I do feel like I'm looking pretty flat. I'm just kidding. So I'm just gonna do this. It's gonna be crazy because I won't be able to get it on underneath my leotard. But these are the oh my god, I see your legs. The Irish company. Help me out, Rob. Help me out.
Oh, the tattoo.
Uh,
Shoot,
I can't believe I'm blanking on
my
them.
tattoo. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, I can't.
this is gonna kill me. I can do this. I can do this. It's not. I see your legs. It is. Look at me. Is it
Look
look
at
at
me.
me?
That's what it is.
At it? Yes. Look at me. These are pretty cool because they really do look like. I was in an airport and this like redneck guy came up to me and I was just wearing just a basic layer. He comes to me like nice tattoo and I was like thank you. He didn't had no idea that he's like staring at.
I have a pair that has the
Really?
cards on it, the
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
cards. I wore them one time to this back when my kids were still in high school, and we were sitting there waiting for, I guess it was a concert event or something with something going on, and I had them on, and one of the parents come up and they're like, "Wow, when did you get that tattoo done? That looks awesome." I said, well, "Thank you. It's not a tattoo." They're like, "It's not? Oh, is it one
What?
of those fake tattoos?" I said, "Well, kind of, sort of. It's actually and I snapped the pantyhose on it because they already knew I wore pantyhose." And I said, "It's actually pantyhose and it's a design that's on." They're like, "That's freaking cool. Where can I get those?" And I
Yeah,
told
right.
her, that, there was from that Irish company. And I told her where she could get it from. I even had the card with me. And so took my cell phone and sent her a picture of the card.
And there you have it. See, look, now I'm layered up with the look at. I hope it's look at me. I hope that's the name of the brand. I will be like we'll be the worst like pantyhose company or not pantyhose podcast in the world if we fuck it up. I'm going to check it out just to make sure we're not embarrassing ourselves terribly.
No, we don't want to embarrass ourselves. I
Tattoo.
can barely touch my tablet here.
I know, right? You got too many. You got sticky fingers. Uh,
Slippery fingers.
stickery fingers. God, stop and stare. Ooh, fucked up.
Oh, we did fuck up.
Oh, how embarrassing for us. Oh, do you hate us?
Oh,
You hate us higher,
we
Lycra?
apologize. We apologize, Stop and Stare Company, for doing that. Please forgive us. At
Stop and
least we found
stare.
out.
I will be wearing your stuff next episode as penance because I really do like their stuff's very high quality. It's wonderful.
Yes,
We're not
yes.
sponsored, by the way. We would like to be, but I doubt after this one. We might have to trim this one
I
down.
will. I will wear my next episode. So remind me.
I will. I will. And like
I think
like
so about them.
how many layers do you have on total?
Now I just like put another third layer on my legs and so two on top.
When do you like? That's a nice shine. Not gonna lie, very nice shine indeed.
Amazing, amazing.
What would you say is the layer where you tap out? Like, how many layers before you tap
When
out?
I haven't done that in a really long time, but when your limbs and joints start to not be able to move anymore and they start to like going stiff.
Ooh, yikes! I don't think I've ever
But
done that before.
I haven't done that in a really long time. And that's I think that I don't know. Yeah, I just went crazy once. I don't know. I think that's the only time I can think of. And then after that, I was like, that was intense. But yeah, I'd say I'd stop at like maybe five. Maybe five is my max
Five.
Yeah,
if I was
Wow.
four,
to
four, four is
think
my
about it.
max for me.
Yeah.
I have yeah, four. I think is it for me. I think I've worn more than four for like for a specific like video like that was commissioned. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes.
I was paid to do it. I was whoring myself out. I'm saying that's the short of it, long and short of it. But so higher. I wanted to ask you, do you have anything that you would like to say to the community about like the way that you feel like have things changed? Do you feel like there's been uh, a change in the sea, as it were, for wearing? Do you feel it's more accepted? How do you feel about where things are going?
I would say there's definitely positive change in the right direction. The more into the future and forward we go, yet at the same time, with things going on politically in the world, with certain rights and freedoms being, repealed and
Oh, we're talking about the women and their the right to their bodies.
anything these
Yeah,
days. Like LGBTQ plus 2SI, like, like those kind of crimes have gone up in Canada.
really,
Like
in
hate
Canada too.
crimes. Yeah, yeah, in Canada too. Like there is definitely also it is also like a very mainstream news rhetoric at the same time. Like they'll report on, any sort of negatives that will come to attack any sort of group. But at the same time, I think mm, because uh, we have had so many rights and freedoms, there is a bit more of a comfortable nature to mm, um, people expressing their sexuality through fetish, through kink. And it's definitely something that's not as taboo anymore. And it's definitely something that, even if it's going to be viewed in a non-fetish setting as something fetish, people are just not even caring. Like people just don't. They have
Right.
their own lives, their own shit, their own problems. And if some guy is going to sit in his hotel room with his windows open, wearing pantyhose, then they're just going to keep on walking. Maybe gawk a little bit and say, like, oh, what's going on? But you know what? They still have their own life to live.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And
Yeah.
that should be wise words of like, say there's somebody on Instagram who was very upset that wearing pantyhose, people asked them if they were gay. They were just very upset. And to them, I say, there's only one type of man who gets upset when somebody asks if they're gay. And it ain't a straight one. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and I kind of used to get flustered about that too. Like, um, when I was younger, I didn't like to say that I was gay, but I definitely, if I was asked, wouldn't be like, no, I'm not gay. But I am still respectful of people who want to, um, say who they are, even if it's not what it is truly inside, because that's their deal. That's their life. That's what's going on in their head, in their mind, in their body, and that's what's keeping them doing what they're doing on this earth. And but we can still try to be helpful to those people. We can still try to say like, hey, like I'll support you, and even if you don't want to like be as public or open about it, for sure, I'm totally there. But at the same time, I still love doing what I like to do, and I love seeing guys express themselves, um, doing what they like to do in any shape or form, and I'm totally in support of that. And there's a lot of stigma around, like what you said, that a lot of people assume that a man is gay, but I have come across so many guys, especially recently, I would say in the last year that I've connected with, that have not been gay, have either been married, uh, straight, questioning, bi, what have you, in relationships, not in relate, like just the whole gamut, the
The
whole shebang,
gamut, yes.
everything, right? Just anything you can imagine. And I'm just like, the world is such a colorful place. The world is such an amazing place.
Absolutely.
There's such an amazing array of people
Mhm.
that just want to come together and be happy. That's literally it at the end of the day, that they just want to come together and be happy.
Brilliant.
I think that's what it comes down to for me. That's what I enjoy about all this so much, is I've met and talked to so many people that it's always going to be a community that, even though there are people that like to hide within the community, they're still going to be accepted no matter.
I agree. And I want to make it
Beautifully said.
clear. I want to make it clear I'm not ripping into this person for not wanting to share their wearing. It for me it becomes problematic when people see being associated as, as the association with being gay as something that is
And
completely,
negative is.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I get bothered, because there is nothing, to me there's nothing inherently bad about being gay, and the only type of person I see getting truly upset about it is somebody who has some unresolved issues with same-sex attraction. They may not be gay,
Hmm.
they might be bi. But I think that that's when it becomes an attack is where I don't like what's what is being done. But other than that, I mean I agree with you completely. I mean, be who you are. I don't believe in forcing anybody into doing it. However, we do on the show we do encourage, if you are
Yes.
going to take that step, you should.
And I have to say, like, just listening to this show, it just puts you in such a good state of mind. I I have, I have my ups and downs. I have my troubles in life. I question like my validity in all of this every day. I have family, I have a life that gets pretty busy
Mhm.
outside of this, and to make this work, it's a part of my life that I need to make it work for me because it makes me happy. And if I didn't have this, and if I shut this out, and if I shunned it away and tried to get rid of it, I wouldn't be happy. It wouldn't work for my life. So trying to find that balance and be happy and proud about it, but don't go overboard. Like, don't shove it in people's faces.
Mhm.
But if that's your thing, go for it.
Yeah, as long as you're not
But
breaking any laws.
Yeah, as long
as
as you're
long as
not like
nobody,
you literally like smacking people upside the face with it and everything, and you're doing
Yeah.
things.
as long as you're not
Well,
hurting
maybe kicking them.
anybody, as long as you're not hurting anybody, if nobody's being killed, nobody is
Yeah,
being harmed, like just basic common sense. Like, it's just not really that bad.
No.
Like, if
no.
it's not causing bodily, physical, mental harm,
Right.
then it's literally something that, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
And
you'd never hear
and
stories of.
the only other thing though I have to say is people especially will get really like wary about anything sexual though when it comes to this kind of stuff is people with kids. That's the only other people you have to worry about. People with kids, and you know what? That all depends on the parents as well. Some people can be very fluid and open. There's naturalist families who take their kids to nudist retreats as a family, and they all get naked together. Like, there's the whole end of the spectrum. It's like, right?
I mean, I think recently, and I won't name names, but it was very upsetting. There was a time member of the community who posted on FetLife that they had um, a minor aged nephew that was showing interest in wearing pantyhose because they wear publicly amongst the family, and they were questioning whether they should buy them pantyhose and help them discover the pantyhose themselves. And which
Hmm.
I replied, no,
Hmm.
that's not something you want to go barking up that tree. There's a lot of now, as much as I think and as much as I do understand that, like, there are graduations from the fetish aspect of it. When you're a teenager, let's be honest, it is very much a fetish thing. I don't believe that there are any teenage wearers out there who are like, I'm doing this for fashion or because I have bad circulation. I mean,
Some
I
maybe for fashion. I can see the fashion part, but then I can also see it once puberty peaks and escalates. Who knows what'll happen after that?
but one
Yeah.
being minor, two it being a family member, you
Uh,
don't want to associate that. So I said I thought it was a bad idea, and they blocked me, and it was disturbing because I
Either
don't.
they got scared or they got scared.
I mean,
But and personally, it could so much could go wrong with that. I mean, it's more of a personal discovery than anything else. But when you
yeah,
start getting involved, and it could so much could go wrong with that, and it will not only look bad just on the person who's trying to influence it, but it could lead to other things that was not intended.
yeah. I think that
Hmm.
you can let a minor discover their things by themselves. Like, let the children do the children thing. I think you.
And
I then. Hmm?
that's what Chops is all about, is discovering who you are
Yeah,
without
Yes.
without control or manipulation from other people. Yes, your parents will guide you along the way, but you're still going to turn out and find your own path, no matter how much somebody says they want you to do this.
and I said, and that's what I said in my response. I said, you wearing publicly and showing them that it's something that can be done is leading by example, and that's all that you can and should do. You know?
And there's parents, there's men, like mothers, women, they've been wearing pantyhose since the dawn of time. So there's that example, but there are men who are have families and kids who will wear as well that I've seen that are very public and open about it. And
Rob's one of
you
them.
know, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you like I've never really met you, Rob, and I think I've only like kind of seen you a little bit on Discord. But
Yep.
I'm so glad to meet you finally and getting to know you now. But
Pleasure to
I
meet you.
really,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know anything about you other than
Yeah.
pretty much what has been said throughout this.
Rob
But
is
So this is,
OG.
I'm an
yeah, this
OG.
is,
I'm an OG, man.
He's one of the
yeah.
first public, like he was one of the first guys who showed his face wearing on the internet ever.
Wow, 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 hell,
Hmm.
But
yeah.
I can't take all the credit because there were several others prior to me ever showing my face in public that proved to me that I can wear in public, that I can, incorporate how I dress and everything. And I'm a very self conscious guy. I mean, I'm always self conscious of what I'm wearing, how I'm wearing, and so forth. Now I'm at the point now I've been wearing for so long. It's like I give zero fucks what people think.
Hmm.
But the thing of it is that when I first started wearing just for my health. I mean, I used to wear prior to that, but it was so off and on, off and on, off and on. Yeah, it for me it was more of a sexual thing, back in the day and everything. But for me, it's like I got to the point. It's like I know from where I work at, and I know people and how they can be, and I know a lot of people who can be some real shady, do real a lot of shady shit and try to blackmail and use blackmail just like, well, I know your secret, and I'm going to tell everybody unless you do this. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to beat everybody to the punch before anybody can sit there and try to use blackmail whatsoever. I'm going public. I'm going to
Right.
show myself, but I did it gradually. I did it alongside with my family. I did it alongside my friends. I did it while I was playing on stage in front of thousands of people. I did it while at work and stuff like that. And eventually, came out fully at work that I wore pantyhose while we were on the picket line in front of 50, 60 people or something like that, you know, and everybody knows. And I'm unabashed about it. I don't care what anybody thinks. If they have a problem with it, I said, well, then that's your problem, not mine, because I'm going to live my life. And if you got a hang up on it, oh well. But what was so funny is that how I came out was so hilarious. I laugh about it till this day because of their reactions. And it ended up being such a beautiful thing.
I think again, it comes down to if somebody has a reaction that is out of the going out of the way, out of normal conversation. Because I've had people say, "Hey, are you wearing pantyhose?" And I say, "Yeah," and they go, "Oh," and that's it. That's the
Yeah,
interaction. But
you
if
confront them
somebody's
with it.
and nobody's ever, yeah, if nobody's ever come at me with anything further, but if somebody comes at you with a, well, why are you wearing pantyhose? And then they start to get very, very invasive with the questioning. Again, that to me says somebody is a little more curious than not. I think if people start to react with anger or they're reacting to it in a way that is not appropriate.
Something is striking like something inside them that is either like an unresolved issue.
Yeah.
I
Something
agree.
there is unresolved and it strikes personally with them because it's struck in a personal chord that they still have to deal with that you're getting the sense, you're getting the vibe, that, yeah. But
Mhm.
to what you said, Rob, like you just get to a certain point where you're like, fuck it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
you just
fuck
get
it.
zero fucks. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I've definitely gotten there. The older you get, and just the longevity of this, like throughout my life, it's just you just fuck it, whatever, and it makes you
When it be
happy. Honestly, it
when it be
makes you happy.
yeah, and when it becomes part of your everyday wardrobe, your everyday thing where it's like, okay, what do I want to wear for that day? And you just don't care because you just go out there and this is how you are. This is who you are. And if people don't like it, that's their problem, not yours.
I still get
Exactly.
nervous. I still get really nervous. Like I'm kind of better with spandex or lycra. Like if I'm gonna go out in something a bit more, sporty, technical, like that kind of thing, like cycling. I'm big into cycling.
Yeah.
but occasionally I will wear pantyhose under like a cycling skin suit or bib tights, like that kind of thing, which I've seen other guys do, and I'm totally comfortable with. But man, if I was going to do that on a group ride, I better have my I better have my balls on that day,
You
like.
could, but see, a sheer black tights would be that would be all you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would. Like it, I guarantee you nobody would question it. And this is another thing that I've come to realize. Your
That all
fears and
bicyclists are pretty much fetishists too. I'm just saying.
well, that's a whole nother, yeah. But um it's like,
You
why
know,
did they get into it in the first place?
I mean, they
Yeah.
sure love to put on their tighty tight stuff. They just it's
Um the other thing is that where was I going with that? What was I gonna say?
something about your
Your
having.
your fears and your worries are usually way worse than what's actually going on around you. Like what you worry about and what you fear is actually probably just not even relevant to what
Yeah.
other people are actually thinking.
Could we
Yep.
challenge you? Could we challenge you if you do it the next bike that you do? Could we challenge you to see if you would wear sheer like hose on the ride?
Yeah, I've worn a Zentai on bike rides with cycling kit under, so
If you
like
can wear a Zentai, I think to me like that's the bold
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah, that's a massively bold statement. I mean, if the Zentai goes, I mean, my God, you can definitely do the shears.
Yeah, I mean it's I think you I think you're not burying the lead in a different way than what we meant earlier. It's almost like I feel like the Lycra spandex bodysuit would be trickier for me to step out in public than the
no,
hose because
no.
the hose can be incorporated in as a base layer, right? So if you wear like black biking shorts with sheer black pantyhose and black shoes and a black top, it looks like a uniform, right?
Bingo.
It does, but the fact that it's sheer, it's that's like the only thing. The fact that it's sheer, it gives it like that femininity element to it,
Oh, does
and
it?
that's
Huh?
and
Uh,
not that I care, but it's just that is the thing that gives the people the twinkle in their eye. They see the shine because I'm a Shine fan as well. I never really would ever go out in anything that would be
There you go.
matte
mm-hmm.
or
Another Shine fan.
and that's kind of like my giveaway as well. Like I feel like if I go out in anything shiny and tight in public, the whole time I'm thinking they know, like
The
they
only
know
ones who know
because
are the ones you want to know. That's
it's
awesome.
Exactly.
just such a big part of my life that it sometimes it's like it's everywhere. So I'm
Wow.
always kind of like in that mindset that like, somebody's gonna know, but at the same time, I want them to know.
Yes.
Yes, that's a fantasy, but when you're in the situation with reality and like people you don't know and you're still trying to figure out strangers, your fight or flight will always kind of kick in for me, especially
Well,
because
I
I
mean,
also I also do have high anxiety and high depression, which I with my ADHD, like sensory overload, which I've read from other guys. A guy in Seattle recently, I just read on his Instagram.
yes, Nylon Seattle had him on the show.
Yes, his tights journey with ADHD and sensory overload. Um, I was reading and I was like, this makes total sense. Like why I feel so good, so comfortable, so confident, so secure, so like in myself whenever I'm wearing anything tight, compression, and also just the feel. Like, you want to touch and feel, not even just for the sexual part, but just for the
The
feeling of it
sensual, the
itself.
sensuality.
Yeah.
But
I just I yeah.
I do think that you should try it because you know what? I think you might be pleasantly surprised that if you do find somebody else who notices that twinkle, it might lead to some like amazing uh, star bursts, if that makes any sense. Saying
Yeah, and we all have this outer shell that we all do put on sometimes, especially where I live. Like I'm currently not where I live. I actually find here as much as it's kind of not as progressive as where I'm from, which is the western part of Canada, like the Pacific, the
Right.
far west. I'm currently on the east coast of Canada. Uh, like it's very laid back here. It's very chill. It's an easygoing lifestyle. It's not like the rush and go of the West, almost like a Seattle kind of thing, right? Where everybody's just on their feet. Um, but I find like here, the guys here, if you go on Grindr, are way more receptive to because in most of my profiles or like anything that is beyond a fetish kind of like not hookup, but get to know other people in a gay community.
Hook
I
up.
will always. I don't. That's another time. I will still promote myself as somebody who enjoys all of this
Right.
because I don't even necessarily enjoy straight up vanilla. So I'm beyond trying to hide that even in my like my personal sexual trying to get to know other people relations.
Yeah, you got to clear out the deadwood right away. Be like, listen, I'm not gonna waste time explaining to you. It's just like, do you have a problem with it? And chances are, I mean, like, thankfully, men, we are shallow creatures. If you're attracted to the man, you usually go along with it. I mean, for me, as long as it doesn't spread disease or is illegal or is, like, that's pretty much, I'm cool with it. Like, that's, I mean, like, those are my things. I'm like, any outfit you want to wear during sex, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, like, it's, maybe the adult diaper thing is a bit much for me, but that's only,
Sometimes I draw the line. Like I
but,
respect it, I get it, and it's your thing. But for me, like, and that's another thing too that I think of as well. Like sometimes I'm like, does anybody look at us and be like, what, like
oh,
a fucking freaks? Like, and of
uh,
course there are people that do, but at the same time, it's just not as extreme, I think.
no, I think the adult diaper one, the only thing that I was like, because this one guy, he acquiesced, he wore pantyhose under the adult diaper. And I said, okay, I'll do that. But here's the deal. You got to promise me that this thing is not going to actually be used because if you use it, tonight's over.
For its intended purpose.
Yeah, do not use the diaper. If it's costume, okay, but not like if you use it, that's we're done. And they didn't use it, and it was like it wasn't as bad as I thought. But it's the people that say like, oh well, I want to use it. I'm like, well, there's look, not looking to have pee in the bed. It's just not. It's something I tried to avoid as an adult. You know.
Oh, I thought they were gonna go the full Monty, like one and two, front and back door.
Oh no. That would be immediate expulsion.
Okay.
I would I would be like, you're gonna have to leave, and I'm not gonna explain to you why. You just shit in your pantyhose and into a diaper.
Well, they'd be like, well, nobody has to clean it up, at least.
No,
I,
thank you.
I
No,
would be like,
thank you.
do I look like an underpaid person working at a nursing home? Because they pay people for that, and they don't pay them nearly enough. Like, listen, if you want to pay someone to wipe your ass, it's not me. No, thank you. But
No, thank you.
But no, I do think that I don't think people judge pantyhose the same way as they do adult diapers because, you know, adult diapers they're for incontinence,
Absolutely. It's I don't see the thrill in it. Sorry.
and I just think that pee and poo
No,
takes me
no,
out of it. It just takes me out of it. Sorry, not
no,
to
thank you.
kink shame anybody out there, but actually a little bit.
Not our thing.
And but
Yeah,
the Zentai stuff, if I had the they're always so expensive. That's the thing for me. Like, and I never know which one to get. Like, I never know which one to try because it's sort of
Well,
like a secret club where you have to like know the right brand. But I would do Zentai.
I think where you could start is Twitter. Twitter
Twitter.
usually has, yeah, Twitter has probably the biggest kind of like collection of, well, international guys, I guess you could say, mainly
Well, I could
China.
say porn, yeah, porny stuff, but like I can never like can't speak Mandarin.
but a lot of them do speak English. And for somebody like me who has been around in the spandex community, in the Lycra scene for, like I said, since I was 18, but definitely before that as well. There have been people who have been within the community who produce suits. Andy E. Lycra, he was a big one back in the day when he
I
was
remember
doing his thing. Pardon me?
Lycra. I remember that name.
Andy E. Lycra. He had a
Lycra.
website,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
andyelycra.co.uk, and his website was really hot. He also had a member section with like member profiles and pictures.
I forgot
That
about. Yeah.
Yeah. And and then eventually he started making and producing his own suits that he also released a DVD with called Layers, where he modeled all the suits and like put all these video clips together of which I did own that DVD at one time.
Huh.
And it wasn't that sexual. It was just more so like modeling the suits kind of thing. But I don't know what happened to it. Uh, it was something you could buy on his store at the same time you could buy the suits. But the suits were really great. I had one of them. It was like a silver metallic suit, and the fabric was amazing. You can still find some of his pictures of him in his suits and various stuff. I think on like a Tumblr, if you just Google search Andy E. Lycra, there's a
Andy
Tumblr that's like
Lycra.
dedicated, yeah, to Andy E. Lycra, all just kind of together, no spaces.
Oh,
Um, the that'll be like some of his old archived pictures. I think he also still has a Tumblr, but it's not active.
wonder what happened
Um,
to it.
uh, life. I still know him in his like what do we call non-fetish? Is it like AD or something like that?
I mean,
something like that.
I guess I just
Yeah,
say like, what do we call it? AD.
alternate uh something like I don't know. But like I know him in his personal life, like we just in passing, I guess you could say, in social media kind of thing.
Huh, okay.
Um, and and it's just life. You get to a point where I feel like I've almost reached that point, but not exactly, where I'm not as active as I used to be. I don't have that young vim and vigor that all the young ones have these days that I had back when I was their age.
Right.
Uh, and I just feel it. Like, I feel like I just want, not that I want to be doing other things, but I want to be doing other things. Like it's still a big focus in my life, but there's other things to do. There's other things to see. There's other things to explore, but I'm still going to take this along for the ride.
Well,
Nice.
that's like so. Listen, I Rob is being summoned by the
Yes.
court, so he has to sign off. But if you want to hang out for a few afterwards, higher, we can chat a little bit more. But
Yes, I have a cookout happening, and my guests are starting to ask where I'm at. So, and then my neighbors are asking to have some cars moved, so I need to go and referee some stuff here.
well,
It's a
thank you so
pleasure,
much
Rob.
for. We'll see you soon. Speak Godspeed, Speed King.
Until next time, everybody, see ya.
Yeah.
Awesome.